think what exhibition on screen is always trying to do is to bring to an audience examples of what humankind is capable of.
I'm David Bickerstaff. I'm a filmmaker working with Seventh Art Productions and working on the Exhibition on Screen series.
So my name's Phil Grabsky. I've been a documentary filmmaker for 40 years. I co-write the Exhibition on Screen films and I direct about a third of them. Exhibition on Screen they're feature films. We want to do something that has long-term value, that people will still watch in 20 years' time.
As a filmmaker, I almost have to do a mini thesis on these artists. So much research has to go into getting it right.
On balance, it's what we think the audience would be interested in and what we as filmmakers are interested in making.
And then we like to give a sense of a journey through the space of an exhibition. So we employ a lot of slider shots, a very cinematic sort of techniques, the gimbal through as if you're drifting from one gallery to the next or going from one painting to the next.
We'll be able to focus the audience on these paintings, these artworks, these sculptures in a way that they probably wouldn't be able to do even in a gallery.
And that's when our lenses can get right into the painting, start to deconstruct it a little bit, give you close-ups that are very lush and interesting and highlight parts of the paintings that perhaps you can't see or wouldn't see because you're jostling between people.
So we can help you on screen by showing you the painting, letting you look, letting you formulate some questions and then giving you some answers.
We really do stay on a painting for a very long time. And then we write a narrative around it that might be a bit like storytelling. You give them permission to look, which I think is important.
We're just trying to connect with people. And I think it comes back to this sense that we're all rushing around so much that sometimes we don't really taste the food that's in front of us. We don't look out of windows on trains because we're all looking at our phone. Give yourself time to look at these artworks because there's a reason why they're considered to be masterpieces.
I spent some of the most amazing times in Cézanne's studio, for instance, or in Lucien Freud's studio, which has just been left as if he's just walked out the place. And it's so evocative and so full of narrative and full of stories and full of ideas. And you really get a sense of how this artist worked and thought. And I think that's very difficult to do in the gallery space, but very evocative when you see it in a cinema.
So all these things we can deliver to an audience in a way that we hope is entertaining and exciting and engaging and educational.
I think it's very key that when someone comes out of the cinema and have seen our films that A, they felt that they've understood a story, they get a more in-depth understanding of that artist, and it's almost like, I didn't know that factor. I didn't know that about that artist. When I looked at it, I'm going to look at that painting completely differently now.
Ultimately, though, it's all about the story. And I'll always keep coming back to the story. You can make something that looks very beautiful and sounds very beautiful. If the story is slightly lacking, then it's going to leave you wanting something. So we work very hard on what is the narrative and what are all the subtext to that narrative.
That's what we want, is people to relate to these paintings at a human level. So this is what I hope, that they relate to them with some sort of emotion. I don't know whether I know how they should feel or want them to feel, but I want it to be an honest reaction.
And I had this the other day with somebody who said, I would never go into a gallery. It's just not where I feel I belong. And that's such a shame. Art is for everybody. And, we try to make films that are for everybody.
Watch Exhibition on Screen on Marquee TV.